Welcome students of Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College. Control and Coordination, Chapter 9, Part 1. So let us start with the fresh chapter today, that is Control and Coordination. Control and coordination deals with the functioning of the brain along with the body. So for that, nervous system is very important. So in today's lecture, we will be studying about the nervous coordination. We'll be studying about nervous system in planaria and hydra as well. We'll be studying about neural tissue, nerve cell and neuroglial cells. So what are the cells which forms the nervous system? So we will be studying about that. So let us start with the introduction of the chapter. As we all know that there are two types of organisms, unicellular and multicellular. Now unicellular organisms, they have a very simple life process. They do not have the formation of organs and organ system in their body. So that way of the life organization, that is very simple, no complexity is there. But when we are talking about multicellular organisms, so what happens here in multicellular organisms, the organization of the body, it consists of organs as well as the organ system. And this organs and organ system, they require both a control over their life process as well as coordination between the various systems. Now there are n number of life process which is going inside the multicellular organism, starting from respiration, digestion, circulation, reproduction, any sort of life process which is going on, it has to be well coordinated with the various system in order to maintain homeostasis of the organism. So plant and animals both show a control and coordination mechanism. Now how this control and coordination is done, we'll look upon it, how actually brain and the nervous system, this nervous system of our body, it functions with the brain. So that brings about control and coordination mechanism in our body. So when we are talking about two complex kingdoms, that is the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom, so in both the kingdoms, there are various ways by which this control and coordination take place. So when we are talking about plants, so in plants, the control and coordination is done by sending chemical signals, and they bring about various types of movements. We know about phototropic, chemotactic, and thymotactic movements. So this are all the plant responding to chemicals, plant responding to light, plant, they are responding to the environment. So that all actually is the control and coordination of the plant. And when we are talking about animals, specifically the higher vertebrates, they show actually the gradual increase in the complexity of their control and coordination by giving both electrical and chemical signals. Here in animals, they get both electrical as well as chemical signals. So in this chapter now you will be study about development of nervous system in different animal groups and details of the system in humans. So we will be focusing on the human nervous system in detail, and also about some different animal, how this control and coordination is taking place. So let us start with nervous coordination. Nervous coordination. So while studying nervous coordination, we'll start with the most primitive nervous system. And the most primitive nervous system, it was observed in Hydra. Now Hydra is an Idarian. It shows the diffused nervous system, which is the most primitive nervous system. So Hydra, an Idarian, it shows a diffused nervous system and is the most primitive one. The Cnidarians are thus the first animal group showing true simple nervous system. It consists of the sensory cells and the nerve cells. It consists of both the cells, sensory cells and the nerve cells. Or nerve cells, they are also known as neurons along with their fibers. The nerve cells are scattered or distributed throughout the body and interconnected to each other by synapses between their fibers to form a nerve net. So these nerve cells, the neurons, they actually, the axon and the dendrites, they are all interconnected each other, and they have that synapse from where actually the signals pass from one neuron to another. So they are interconnected by that, and these are the two nerve nets both in the these are the two nerve nets which are both in the mesoglia, one which is connected towards the epidermis and second is towards the gastrodermis. So there are two nerve nets, one to the mesoglia and other to the gastrodermis, and that's how the entire body of the hydra, it's interconnected with the nerve cell. And in hydra there is this diffused nervous system is the most primitive type of nervous system which was observed very first. Next is nervous system in planaria, which is a flatworm. So planaria is a flatworm which belong to the phylum Platyhelminths. You must have studied about the planaria flatworm in 11th standard. So it is the most primitive animal with a central nervous system located on the ventral side of the body. So this planaria, they have central nervous system which is located on the ventral side of the body, and it consists of a mass of cerebral or cephalic ganglion appearing like an inverted U-shaped brain. So this animal, they are the most primitive one which has shown the existence of central nervous system in their body, where actually a U-shaped brain was seen. So when we are studying about hydra and planaria, so what is the conclusion we are coming? So there is a high level of specialization in the formation of neurons as electrically signaling cells, and also in the entire system, gradually from a diffuse neural system to a centralized nervous system. So when we were studying about hydra, we have studied about a diffused nervous system, and when we have studied about planaria, we have observed the presence of the brain, presence of the central nervous system. So like there is a movement from diffused to centralized nervous system, so there is an evolution. Next is the expansion into a properly organized system involving the brain, its gradual expansion in size and functions. So there is actually expansion of brain, because brain, it's actually all interconnected and it has a number of functions. It actually controls each and every part of our body. So its expansion, size and functions was studied. Now, this has led to centralization of various sense organs, assisting in the coordinating the internal environment with that of the external environment. So, here what happens, how these organisms they behave with the environment. This all is that is actually related to the nervous system of the body. Also, their evolution of a complex networking system which efficiently transmits signals between one part or organ of the body and another. So, there is an evolution of this networking system, and what happens now, there is efficient transmitting of the signals between each and every organ of the body and the other and another. So there is like connected to the brains, there is connection, and this connection is actually due to the neurons which are present in our body. So now let us study about the components of the nervous system, and we shall start with neural tissue. Neural tissue. Now this neural tissue, it consists of two types of cells. Number one, neuron. Number two, neuroglia cells. So the neural tissue, it primarily consists of two type of cells, neurons and neuroglia, that is glial cells. Now when we are talking about nerve cells, we come across the word axons. So while a nerve is a bundle of axons, the word nerve is used for a bundle of axons outside the central nervous system. And in the central nervous system, for the same word, tract is used, TRACT. Tract is used instead of axons. The nerve, it may be sensory or motor or mixed type, that is having both the types, sensory and motor fibers. Now all this along with the nervous organs, they make up the nervous system of the higher animals, and they bring about coordination and control of various activities of the body. So these fibers, nerves, axons, neuroglia, neural tissue, actually all this they bring upon the coordination and control of various activities of the body. Now, this is done through the receptors which bring in sensory inputs towards the central nervous system. Processing is carried out in the central nervous system, and then through the motor commands, the response is sent out. The processing is done in the brain. For example, if you're touching a hot object, you just take your hand, pull your hand back. Now, this processing of pulling your hand back is done in the central nervous system, and then whatever commands are there is that is the response, it is sent out, and then you behave accordingly. So the nerves which arise from the cytons or the central nervous system, they travel throughout the body, transmitting the nerve impulses to or from the CNS. Now the nerves, they are playing the very important part. They take up the signals from the body and they transport to the CNS, and from the CNS they take the messages or response and they actually transmit it to the required place. So actually these nerves, they are very important part of the nervous system. So now let us study about neurons, that is the nerve cells. Neurons, these are the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. This is the basic definition of a neuron. Always remember, they are the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. Each multipolar neuron has three parts: cyton or cell body, dendron, and axon. The cyton has a distinct central nucleus with the nucleolus and neuroplasm. Now, this we will be studying with the diagram as well. A clear film of cytoplasm surrounds the nucleus, around which are neurofibrils, Nissls granule, and other cell organelles. Nissls granule are riboprotein components. So the cytoplasm is surrounded, which is surrounds the nucleus. They are the neurofibrils, Nissl granules, and other cell organelles. They play an important role in the synthesis of the enzyme required for formation of neurotransmitter. Now, the components which are present in the cytoplasm, they are very important because they are required for the synthesis of the enzymes. Now, these enzymes, what they do, they form the neurotransmitter which helps in passing the electrical or signals. So neurofibrils, they play an important role in transmission of the nerve impulse. Next is dendrons. They are many small conical processes arising from the cyton, and they are highly branched into fine dendrites. Nissls granules and neurofibrils both can be seen at the base of the dendrons. They transmit message towards the cyton. So after that, axon. Axon is a single, long, usually unbranched process arising from the cyton at the axon hillock. It consists of a bundle of neurofibrils. Nissls granules are absent. Terminally, the axon gives out branches called telodendrons, and the axons, they carry the messages away from the cytons. The axons may give out lateral branches called collaterals. The terminal branches attach to a muscle, gland, or skin, or telodendrites of another neuron. So the interconnection between two neurons or neuron with motor organ is called synapse. So the interconnection between two neurons, where that is the place where actually two neurons gets connected, that is called as synapse. So here, if we are considering the basic structure of a neuron, the main parts of the neuron are the cell body, the dendrites, the nucleus, the axon, and the axon terminal. Now here the axon terminal, and it's get connected to the dendrite of the another nerve cell. So there is a small gap from where actually the signals they pass, and that area is known as synapse. Now you all must have studied about this nerve cell and the structure of and the diagram of this nerve cell. You all must have been drawn various times, but here there is detailed study of the neurons. The connective tissue which is covering around the nerve fascicule is called endoneurium. We few nerve fasciculi with endoneurium are surrounded by a connective tissue. They are called perineurium, and still large bundle of nerves is covered on the outer side of epineurium. So your connective tissue which is covering around the nerve fascicule, they are the endoneurium, and that is surrounded by perineurium, and again there is a large bundle of nerves which is covered on the outer side by epineurium, and blood is supplied to all the nerves to provide oxygen and nutrients to all the nerves. So that way all the neurons they get interconnected with all the parts of your body to the brain. So after the neuron, let us study about neuroglial cells. Neuroglial cells. The neuroglial cells are far greater in number than the neurons. Most of the supporting cells of the nervous system are derived from the same embryonic tissue layer that produces neurons. The term neuroglia, it refers to the supporting cells of the central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. So these neuroglial cells, they are in greater number than the neurons. They are the supportive cells. They are the actually supporting cells of the CNS and the PNS, and these are derived from the same embryonic tissue layer that produces neurons. So they are like location, the area of origin is same. The neuroglial cells, they are the supportive cells of central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. So these are the different types of neuroglia cells which actually helps in the functioning of the central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. As we can see in the central nervous system, there are four types of cells, and peripheral there are two. So this epidermal cells, oligodendrocytes, then astrocytes, microglia, these are the central nervous system cells, and in peripheral nervous system there are satellite cells and Schwann cells. So these are all the different types of neuroglial cells in the central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. You may need to write only the names of the neuroglial cells in the central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. So students, today we have just started with the introductory part of control and coordination. So today we have just started the introduction. So in introduction to study control and coordination, it is very important to know about the nerves and the nervous system and what are its components. So today we have studied about neural tissue, and it consists of neuron and neuroglial cells, and for we have also studied about neuron and also the neuroglial cells. So I want you all to just go through this part from the textbook and do the assignment. Thank you.